question to start off with both coach and a player. Now you have seen and analyzed your opposition team, Denmark. Could you both share your thoughts about the team that you're going head-to-head tomorrow?
Yeah, look, obviously they're a strong team. They are ranked number 10 in the world for a reason. But again, I keep saying this, but the focus is solely on ourselves and making sure that the players recover well and they're in a good headspace and ready to go.
Thank you. Leckie?
Yeah, as the coach said, obviously we're planning, a game style to play. But the most important thing has been the last few days is to get ourselves in the recovery room and doing all the right things to get our bodies right for the game again. I think, it's obviously every game at the World Cup's tough, and it's going to be another tough one, and we need to, have all the energy and the fight again for this game.
Arnie, Matt Bungard from 9 Wide Water Sports. Obviously, you can't control what happens in the other game, but it does have a bearing on what happens and how what result the team needs. I guess my question is, particularly in the last 10, 15 minutes, could you maybe take us through the logistics of how you monitor the other result in case you need to go from needing a draw to needing a win, or from needing a win to needing a draw, or just how do you keep an eye on that game and dictate what you do at the same time?
Full focus on ourselves and winning the game. I can't control the other game at all, so it's a waste of time even looking at that. But making sure that we win the game, that's the most important thing.
Graham, Sam McClure from 3AW Radio. I asked you before the Tunisia game what you wanted your legacy to be, and you said just to put smiles on Aussie fans' faces. You've done that. I'm sure you've seen the scenes back home. Now you're closer to extending those smiles. Do you have a feel about what the Denmark game could mean for Australian football, medium and long term? Do you allow yourself to think outside just the pitch and 90 minutes about what it means back home potentially?
No, look, I think if there's probably something that's been proven right is that there's one football team, sporting team, that unites a nation, and it's the Socceroos. And when you look at the celebrations in Federation Square down in Melbourne, and you look at, I had a few mates send videos through of, how crazy the place is going. It just shows you how that football is alive and well in Australia. And again, it's about getting our performance right. It's about making sure that we're ready to go. And once again, putting smiles on Australian faces once is not enough. Let's do it some more times.
Fikr Okabi, Al-Iraqi newspaper and Elifia magazine. My question to Coach Graham Arnold. Today is the 29th of November. At the same this day in 1997, you played the last match with Socceroos against Iran. And you have a tears at that day. So how we can make this tears, you can make this tears as a turning point for tomorrow match, and we can celebrate together.
Thanks for ruining my day. That was probably one of the worst moments of my football life. And thank you. Yeah. Well, we play on the 30th, so the 29th is a training day, and just make sure the boys are happy and get them ready.
Yes, please.
Mark Schwarzer, Optasport. First question to Arnie. Can you give us enough fitness update of Aiden Rustic? Is he fit to start? And also, how's Nathaniel Atkinson doing? And also then to Lex about your third World Cup. You got the experience, you know how of playing at World Cups. You've also played the first 2 games for the full 90, or not full 90, but a large portion of them. How do you back yourself up? How do you get yourself ready to be prepared for this massive game against Denmark?
You can go first.
Good. Like you said, I've obviously experienced previous World Cups, and I know that the key thing is, or the experience that I've had is, if you're not doing all the right things to get yourself up for this game, there can be fatigue. But like I said, the last 2 days has been so important, and we've done a lot on getting in the physio room, doing all the recoveries we need, and we've got all the resources here. It's been brilliant. So it's one of those things where, we speak about it a lot is, we got one game to get a result to go through to the next round, and we've worked 4 years to get to this position. So if there's not every player on that field giving 100% and more, then I don't know. But I definitely will be if I'm there on the field. And it really comes down to just, having a strong mentality and doing that.
Yeah, look, Schwartz, I think Nathaniel is, we'll see how he is this afternoon. And Aiden is, you saw that he came on the last 15, 20 minutes, so he's in consideration. But it'll probably be the first time, probably in the 4 years, I won't name the starting lineup tonight because we need that extra bit of time to see how the boys pulled up after the game.
Hello, Christian Porse from Danish Media Bold.dk. A question for you, Graham. Have you seen anything from Denmark in this tournament that you kind of fear or have to look out for? And for you, Matthew, have you gotten any advices from your goalkeeper, Matthew Ryan, who plays in Denmark for FC Copenhagen?
Yeah, look, obviously, Denmark have been a top team throughout Europe for a long, long time, and we've been watching them for a long, long time. But it's we can only do so much with worrying about them. It's more the focus has to be on ourselves because it's we know they can play two systems. They can play a 3-4-3 or they can play a 4-3-3. So we've got to be prepared for both of them tactically. But it's about getting our game right.
Arnie, Clint Stanaway from 9. Actually,
he's.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Matty hasn't actually said anything, but I'm sure if he has anything that he knows, he's obviously probably gone to the coaching staff. But we reviewed them today and yesterday, and obviously we're well aware of their danger, and it's a good side. So we know what we need to know really, but like the coach says, it's focusing on what we're going to do, and if we're doing the right things, that's what's going to have a good outcome in the game.
Apologies. Question to both, if I can. Nerves show that you care. Are you both nervous? If not, what's the overriding emotion as you sit here?
Excitement. It's not often you get to go to a World Cup, and I've been saying this to these boys to enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride. We've gone through over the 4.5 years. We've gone through some difficult periods of obviously through the pandemic, and we've only played 4 games out of 20 at home. So for the boys just to enjoy this ride. But again, it's all about the belief that within the group. It's about the energy in the players that we get their energy up, and then the full focus is on ourselves and getting our game right. So I've never, I feel really relaxed and ready.
I think, Leckie, sorry, go for it.
Let's go. I think the feelings are motivated and excited. I'm not really nervous right now. I'm not, I think we all know the job at hand, and like I said, we've worked so hard to get to this position, and we've always believed that we can create something special. When the Socceroos got out of the group in 2006, I was a proud fan, and now we have the opportunity to be players and do that. And as we saw how proud it makes the people back home, so we're doing it for the country, for ourselves, for our friends, for our family, and that's motivation in itself.
Thank you, Coach Graham. My name is Isaac Swila from Kenya, Citizen. I wanted to know the tight match tomorrow, no margin for error, definitely. What have you told your players ahead of this game? And we've seen some coaches opt to give players off just to calm them down ahead of the matches. Probably, what approach have you employed ahead of this, just to get the boys relaxed and calm?
Yeah, look, it's when you don't change the wheel. We've been together for 4.5 years, and the boys know what to do. They know what my expectations are. They know what requires to be at their best, and so it's just about again keeping them happy, keeping the energy up, and making sure that we get everything right.
Joey Lynch for ESPN. Question for Arnie and for Matt. Arnie, you touched briefly yesterday how you'd been reflecting on 2019 AFC Under-23 Championship qualifying in Cambodia. You got 5 members of that squad now with you in Qatar. Could you maybe just expand a bit on how that was a sliding doors moment for your tenure with the national teams, and then maybe also what you taking on the Oli Rouge job as well as the Socceroos job, how big that has come to be now that you're here in Qatar? And then for Matt, we heard from Martin yesterday about how you've been helping him out and all of that sort of stuff during the camp. Could you maybe talk us through how you're helping him out?
Yeah, look, I think there's more than 5 that was with us at the Olympics. But it was a quick fix, and it's not right. When I say that, it's, whatever happens with this World Cup, we need to, I think the organisation and everything needs a review of what's going on at junior development, because when I went in 2018 and I first got appointed to the job to Russia and I watched them play, I could see straight away that Kale, Yadanak, Milligan, Cruz and an ageing squad was there, and I needed to, I'd already taken the job, I needed to find players. And then when I started looking, then there was nothing coming through. And when you're ringing A-League coaches and you're talking about 2 players per club, I barely could put a squad together to go to Thailand and even to Cambodia. And that's not right. We need more kids given an opportunity in Australia. And there's massive concerns for the future moving forward unless it's fixed. And so, as I said, it was a quick fix. And that's why I did the Olympic team for nothing. And that's why I had to do it for a reason. And when I asked the organisation, what's the Olympic program? And it's 10 days preparation, and they didn't even have a coach 2 months before. Those type of things are not right. But at least now, Tony Vidmar's in charge of that. The Olympic team, he's here with me. And as I said, it's the Socceroos are just the icing on the cake. And whatever that icing, whether it tastes good or bad, the most important thing is the ingredients. And the ingredients is junior development and junior national teams. And if that's not right, then the icing will not taste very good. Lex?
Yeah. Obviously, I'm rooming with Boyley, and me and Boyley, from the first time that he came into the camp, he's been a great addition for us, not just on the pitch but off the pitch. He creates a great atmosphere. He's a very bubbly guy, and we sort of clicked right from the get-go. So we were all devastated, obviously, to hear the news that he wasn't going to be able to participate in this tournament. And the first thing he said was that he would love to stay here. And I'm sure all the boys wanted him here as well. And, I definitely wanted him here because, if he leaves, then I'll, probably just be in my room doing not much. So we're really, really close. It's my pleasure to help him when I can. I'm sure he would do the same. And, I'm just very happy that he's been able to stay with us for this time.
Graham, Adrian Archulou from SBS. Just want to ask you about the facilities and how much has that been sort of the secret weapon, you think, given the tight turnarounds, just having the Aspetar facility and even just the details when it comes to the training pitches, replicating Al Janoub. How important has that been? And as Timmy, he's obviously scored goals at World Cups, but has he made a big impact in terms of being able to secure that facility at such short notice given the late qualification?
Yeah, look, I think 5 months ago there was articles written about it. Was like a university docs, and it wasn't, up to speed of what we should have been staying in. I looked at this 3 years ago when we were over here, and with Joel Freem and Andrew Clark, and we came and we looked at the Aspire, and it was straight away, it was the easiest decision to make. The facilities are incredible. We don't have to get on buses to go to training. We don't have to, worry about anything else. We've got all the recovery that we need there. We've got great training pitches, and it's fantastic. So I do see that as a big advantage for us.
Hi, Graham. Martin Lipton from The Sun in England. I was taken by your comment then about the one team that unites Australia is the Socceroos, and you're on the cusp of a significant achievement. It is 16 years since the last time, only time you've reached the knockout stage. Could this be the spur and spark for a whole generation of Australian kids growing up wanting to be Matt Leckie and Duke and Goodwin rather than wanting to be Brad Fittler or Shane Warne or whomever it might be?
Or Mark Schwarzer.
Or Mark Schwarzer. I've spoken to him already.
No, look, again, that's the whole purpose, and that's what my whole goal is when I say put a smile on Australian faces, and that is also, you know, and I've said this many times, it's not about me, it's about the game in Australia. You know, you look, if you're not Australian and you don't know, and, you know, football in Australia is probably the fourth or fifth main sport after AFL, rugby league, rugby union, cricket, and then there's football. In terms of, they call it soccer, but football. So it's, you know, to leave a legacy is huge. And, you know, I joke about Schwartz, but, you know, in 2006 and what that generation did, and I was very fortunate. I was there as assistant coach with Gus Hiddink and experienced that as well. And all the kids that grew up, these kids as this generation, they were 10 years of age watching these guys do what they did at 2006, and those guys were their inspiration. And when you sit round now, even in the lunchroom and that, this generation is talking about emulating the 2006 squad and achieving the same goals that when they were 10 years of age they saw. So it's about putting the game on the map a bit more in Australia. But again, there's so much more work to do and to look at that it's crazy.
Vince Rigari from the Sydney Morning Herald. That was basically going to be my question, so I may as well ask it to you, Lex. 2006, where were you? What was going on in your life? Did that campaign cement your love for football and convince you to sort of take it on as a professional pursuit? And on the back of that, the idea that you're one win away from matching Schwartz's generation and what they were able to do, the thought of what that could do for a whole generation of not just players but fans, other people involved with the game. You know, you've got a lot of motivation to do this, but what about for the players, what it means for the sport as well?
Yeah, it's huge for the sport, obviously, without really even knowing how much it will impact young kids. But I'm sure when they watch the telly and they see the atmosphere and, you know, how big the World Cup is, it could be just one of those things that clicks in their head and says, I want to be a footballer rather than, you know, an AFL player or something like that. So, yeah, like Arnie said, you know, the World Cup and us Socceroos, you know, really bring the nation together. And when I was younger, growing up in a AFL environment with my family, one thing that, you know, did bring my family to follow football was, you know, the national team and the World Cup. So, yeah, we can create something special as the 06 team did. But in saying that as well, you know, the other day when we got our result and we won, the first thing that was said was, you know, we haven't really done anything yet because there's still another game to go, and without a result tomorrow, it all means nothing. So, yeah, just fully focused, trying to stay, you know, I think the most important thing is to stay focused and know what the job is at hand, and that is tomorrow, and mentally be there, but also physically. And that's why the last few days has been massive on, you know, making sure we're doing all the right things to have the energy again to go again tomorrow.
Tracy Holmes, ABC. Question to both of you. I don't know if you've managed to take in many other games here, but like the one yesterday with Ghana was just sensational. There've been quite a few surprises, and I wonder if both of you could give some thoughts on where the world game is going when you pivot it forward. And Graham, a couple of times you've mentioned that work needs to be done. If Football Australia said to you at the end of this campaign, you're in charge of fixing it, what are the first three things you'd do?
Hire about 150 people. At this moment I'm focused on this, and then I'm focused on a break. But the game's getting growing and growing and growing right across the world. And, it's Asia is growing so quickly. People can sit back at home and, that their opinion is maybe that, Saudi is not that good and Japan, and look what they've done. They've beaten Argentina and they've beaten Germany. And Asia is throwing a lot of money into football. And we need to catch up and do the same thing. Remember the question?
Yeah. I think in general, all sports and the way, things are happening these days, you see individuals are getting better, they're getting faster, stronger. And football all over the world, I think, is getting, the teams are getting closer and closer together because of that reason. It's one thing going into a game with individuals and tactics, but I think so much of the game today is about the energy, the physicality, and the mentality going into games. And as you see in this World Cup, the best team doesn't always win, and that's for a few reasons. And as Arnie said, I think everyone expects us to just sort of qualify every time because they maybe think the Asian teams aren't as good as what they really are. We know the individuals thoroughly that we play against, and they're good players. So it is very, very tough to qualify, and Asian teams are getting better, and they've they've shown that in this World Cup.
Luke Doherty, Fox Sports News. Question to both. I believe Mike Conway is in camp with the side, the mine coach, and has been in parts of the qualification campaign as well. Just wondering, Graham, from you, what you hope that the team is picking up from him, and Lex, what is sort of a nugget that you've sort of taken from it as the squad approaches one of the biggest moments in a lot of players' careers?
It's, big part of my role is, in the way I am as a coach, is I'm probably 70% psychologist as well. So, most important thing for me is making sure that I look at the energy. I can tell the difference with players. I can tell if there's something wrong just by their energy and their body language. So, Mike is there, and Mike said, just in case. It's not a matter of tapping people on the shoulder every day and finding out or digging or finding problems. It's just there. He's there just in case.
Yeah, I think for us as players, we're very fortunate and privileged to have the staff that we have across all areas. And Mike's a great guy. He's good to have around, and I think he's always there for every player in every different way. I think every player needs something different. Some players speak to him more than others. And he's a great guy. He's very positive, and I think majority of talks you come away from with him are it's a positive conversation. So, like I said, another addition that has helped us along the journey, and we're very lucky to have what we have as players. Yeah.
Hi, Oliver from news.com.au. Question for you, Graham. You mentioned the 06 campaign. Is there anything you remember from what Hiddink did in the lead up to that Croatia game that you have learnt lessons from that you've tried to replicate this time around?
Should I answer that, Schwartz? No, look, I think one thing was he went out for a win, and that's what we're going to do. I've never coached to play for a draw. It's all about winning, and when we talk about 06 and now and things like that, we want to be we want to go for it. And as I said, get 2 wins in 06, we got 1 win and 1 draw, and our ambition is to get 2 wins and have the most wins ever at one World Cup. So it's about going out and winning the game.
Graham, David Mark from the ABC. Pure practicalities. Obviously, the last couple of days have been all about recuperation. What are you going to do at training tonight? Do you have the players running at full pace, or are you still recovering from that game? Does everybody train at full pace?
Yeah, look, the next 24 hours, again, it's just about getting the boys ready. And then there'll be parts of training where it's sharp, but very small session and a little bit of intensity, but making sure that the brains are switched on and ready to go, and their bodies are ready, because the brain is everything. If the brain's not clear and if the brain's not ready, well then you can have the best tactics in the world and they won't take it in. And if the brain's not ready and clear, then on the physicality side, they'll feel something. So, and technically, it's, again, if the brain's not clear and ready, then the technical side won't be right. So it's all about getting that brain right and clear, and them sleeping well. And that was a big thing that we pushed straight after the game, was the sleep patterns as well, because that's very important for the recovery side of things.
Question for Graham. David Weiner from Keep Up. We just heard from the Denmark team before. Obviously made an impression on them. They expect the Socceroos to put pressure on, come at them, run hard. What do you expect from Denmark?
Yeah, the same. You know, when you look at their, when they perform well, they do the same. And, you know, I think maybe it could be one thing they underestimate us on, and that is our quality. You know, we want to walk away from here. It's not just about, you know, being the fighting Kangaroos or the Australians who just fight all the time, but it's also the quality that we can bring as a team as well.
Hi, Ben's from Channel 10. Matt, you mentioned several times the importance of your mentality. So what is the correct mentality? Do you have a mantra, or what is it that you'll be reminding yourself of tomorrow when you walk out there?
Myself?
That's for me.
Oh, you Lex?
Unless you're playing.
I say, thank God for that.
Yeah, I think the key thing in, you know, having a good mentality is that going into every game with the same drive, mentality, in the sense that not every player or every footballer has his best game every game. But if you come out, you go out there with the right energy, and you know, you win your battles, then you know that's already half the battle won. And I think a massive key point in the previous game was how ready every individual was to win their battles, and we matched them physically, if not bettered them physically. And Denmark are another physical team. You know, they work hard as a group, with and without the ball. And I've always said every player here, the coach has picked to bring our own individual qualities, and there's no reason to, you know, go in a shell now or scared of the occasion, because what you have done week in, week out to get here is what, you know, got you selected. So just play your game, be positive in playing your game, work hard as a team, and the performance will be there.
We'll have two final questions. One.
Yeah, Christian from DR Denmark. Regarding Joachim Mæhle, he hasn't had the tournament that he expected. He said that he doesn't have the space as he has the past years, obviously because last year's Euros, he was a new player. Can you tell us how you've prepared for Joachim Mæhle, who's obviously hasn't had the tournament he's hoped for?
Is that a question for me or Matthew?
Oh, for Graham, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't hear who you said.
Joachim Mæhle, the left winger, back from Denmark. Can you tell us how you've prepared for him?
Yeah, look, again, it's if I tell you that, well, then you'll tell him. So
I won't be able to speak to him, so...
But look, it's making sure that we nullify their strengths, and we know they have strengths, and we be ready to you know, take them away from them and make sure that we get our strengths right.
A question for you, Graham, from a Danish press. 18 months ago, Christian Eriksen was lying dead in the European Championship. Now he's here in the World Cup. You're facing him tomorrow. What do you think about his recovery?
Fantastic, inspirational. It's you know, it's just marvellous that he's here, and it's truly great that we're going to be playing against him. And I think that it was such a special moment for the Danish national team as well when he came back, and when you saw when he went back, and then now he's at Man United, and seeing what he's doing shows the rest of the world that what a strong character he is, and a top person by the looks of it. I don't know him, of course, but you can see that when that sad moment occurred, that everyone rallied around him and behind him, and we were actually watching it. Where were we then?
Kuwait.
Q8, yeah, with World Cup qualifiers, and we were watching it, and it was horrifying. But to see him now back and being at this World Cup, it's special for us to be able to play against him.
Okay. And Matthew, you say that the Danish squad has many individual qualities. Who is the most talented player in the Danish squad?
I don't really want to single one out, but obviously, Eriksen is an amazing player who's had an amazing career, and I think he's a big player, a big leader in their team. I'm sure if you ask their players, they'll probably see him as a leader and one of their major players. He makes a big difference, and we've seen how dangerous he can be. And they have weapons all over the field. And as I said, as a group, from what we've seen in the footage, they all work hard as a group to get back and to get forward. So we need to do the same, and that's what's given us our best chance so far. Willing to be positive, to play positive, to defend positive, and then when teams sort of get through our press or whatever it may be, the ability to get back as a group as quick as possible. So that's been the strong talking point, or what we've worked on, and everyone's taken it on board. So the last 6 months, and I think that's why we've been such a difficult team to play against.